Hi everyone, Sheila here again to speak a little bit about practices that help us gather and unwind, kind of refresh our nervous system and our minds in these increasingly busy and troublesome times. It may be that we all felt very restrained by having been home all those weeks, and that moving back out into our lives can also feel stressful and uncomfortable. So whatever the external source of discomfort, anxiety, worry, doubt, anything that feels overwhelming, and that could also be on the happy side. Sometimes good or happy feelings can make us feel overwhelmed and overly excited so that we don't feel like we're resting either. So whatever the source, there's a road back to some stillness within us if we get familiar with the path, if we throw down enough breadcrumbs that we can make our way back. If we become familiar with that path, we're more likely to access it at times that we need it, which could be every day or many times throughout a day. So for folks who don't really have the time to sit or haven't created that yet, I'll just remind us of the mindfulness practices of daily life. That anytime you're doing pretty much anything, chores, dishes, walking, we can intentionally bring our mind and our awareness and our focus to something in the moment through the use of anchors. So really noticing what the body is doing if we're walking, the transfer of weight between our feet. Even if we're standing at the sink doing dishes, of course there's the feel of the soap and the water, but also our feet. Do we move back and forth a little bit? Feeling of our shoulders. So lots of points that we can drop our awareness to. It's a question of developing that as a practice so that our minds do get a rest from the thought streams that take off on their own so that we don't feel trapped by them. And if we do sit, then we can choose more, I would say, focused anchors, breathing, body awareness, sounds around us. So I just want to remind us that the path from thinking, from thoughts, is meant to be walked with compassion and understanding and a light hand. So we're not grabbing ourselves from a thought and tossing ourselves into some idea of a present moment. It's a gradual and gentle awakening, so to speak, that, there's a thought. That's what the mind does. It's really important to make space for what arises. All of what arises is part of being human. The thoughts, the worry, the doubt, all part. Our goal is just to keep them in check, to not be led around by them, to notice when they arise, and in that space there are more options for what we do, what we think, what we say, so that we don't feel overwhelmed by thoughts that are by nature proliferating in our minds. So they come, but they also go, just like each breath. It arises and it passes. That's part of the wisdom in witnessing it, the arising and passing of most everything. So even when things feel very serious or perhaps painful, we have some connection to this knowledge that they will pass, that they arise and they dissipate. Not always in the timing that we would like, but it's still a natural factor to arise and subside. So notice the arising of thoughts, the arising of one breath to the next, the arising of sensation in the body. Sometimes we feel like there's a really strong sensation, and then at some point we might notice it is no longer there, no longer captivating our attention. And of course, sounds, they change. Some of them we like more than others, but the goal is to make a home for all of them. Just watch them arise and pass. And the more often you do this through your days, whether it's a formal seated practice or as you go about your life, the more that path back towards something in the moment, it becomes more accessible, and that's really the practices. So I hope these little tips remind us of how we can get back into the present moment, just leaving the thought stream aside for a while. Thoughts and habits are not bad things. They exist, they arise. Some of them are really helpful. We just want to be able to pick and choose when we engage with them. So if you have any questions at any time, again, you can reach me through the community center. We are still meeting as a live Zoom group on Tuesdays between 10:30 and 11. So we sit together. It's a guided seated meditation, and there's always room for questions and sharing just amongst each other. And you can get my email information also from the community center if you'd like to join and receive a Zoom invitation in your email. So be well, and I'll see you next time.